Here in St. Louis, they call it Arch Madness, and the winner here will go to the NCAA tournament, the Missouri Valley Conference Championship, presented by State Farm. The number 3 seed, Indiana State, matched up with the top seed, Missouri State. You win, and you're in. The starting lineups for the Sycamores: Carter, Latham, Odom, Richard, and Walker for Missouri State. Mallett, Leonard, Ricks, Weeks, and Creekmore. The officials here today: Scott Thornley, John Higgins, and Kelly Self. Ian Eagle along with Jim Spinarkle, the rest of our CBS crew. And we are set for action. Creekmore against Walker. Indiana State initially controlled the tip, and they'll retip.
It'll be an interesting start here. When you think about this game starting off, Indiana State played 11 guys. They have real good depth. Missouri State has 7. So it'll be interesting to see in back-to-back games whether depth becomes a factor. Maybe not in the first half, but obviously in the second half of a close game.
That Kentucky-Tennessee scores on the bottom of your screen, so you can follow along. Close one in Knoxville. We'll keep you posted. Just underway, Missouri Valley Conference Championship. These two teams one step away from the big dance. Missouri State half-court set with Leonard. On the outside, the Conference Player of the Year, Kyle Weems. Shot clock is down to 7. Leonard one-on-one with Carter. Jumper on the way, and sticks it. A 3 to open things up.
And obviously a guy who knows how to score. He comes in spurts, over 1,500 points in his career, so obviously he knows how to get his shot off. A good start, though, for Missouri State. They started out slowly in yesterday's game.
And the anticipation, the steal for Mallett. Mallett streaking in for the deuce.
Well, that early lift. One straight up offensive play, the other at the defensive end. Caused a little transition going the other way. Indiana State has to respond now with a good set at the half court.
5-0 lead for Missouri State. Carter holds. Carl Richard now on the perimeter. Jake Odom, redshirt freshman, hometown product from Terre Haute, Indiana. Shot clock is down to 10.
Good guy to have the ball, though, with the shot clock down.
Odom. Down to 2, jumper, no, it grazed the rim, and it's rebounded by Mallett for the Bears. Here's Weems, the penetration, double team, high floater. Knocked out of there by Creekmore.
Good work on the offensive glass, just to get a finger on it to be able to direct it back to half court.
So Nafis Ricks, the senior from Philadelphia, handling the basketball for Missouri State. Now it's Mallett. Pull-up goes down, and a 7-0 advantage for the top-seeded Bears.
One of the things the Bears are showing early on here is that they're very comfortable and confident starting up the first part of this game, Ian. You know, so Indiana State has to settle down a little, make sure they get something going towards the rim if they can. Get to that free throw line, maybe see the ball go through the hoop.
There's Latham. One-on-one with Mallett. Excellent defensive player. Carter looking to feed the post. It's Richard. And he stepped on the baseline. Turnover, Indiana State. Greg Lansing in his first year as the head coach of the Sycamores. He was the associate head coach from 2006 to 2010. A little bit of a surprise that Indiana State is here, but they played well in St. Louis. They talked about winning 3 games in 3 days. This is the 3rd game of that goal, and if they get the win here, they go to the NCAA tournament. 7-0 lead for Missouri State. Creekmore backs in and gets the roll.
Just really spacing the floor very nicely, just under control. I like the way they've come out, Missouri State, and really have just not rushed into anything. And by the way, defensively, they've upticked it now and not allowing Indiana State to get a real good look as of yet.
Odom off the drive and kick. Latham ball fake. Just having a tough time finding opening shots here. Odom has it rim out. That ball got knocked up through the rim. Now it's Odom. Good move. Hook around feed. Carter lines it up, and he buries it.
Great look. Yeah, great look by Odom just then. He was under so much traffic going to the basket. He's got terrific sense of where to pass the basketball. And Carter, a real good shooter, 34% for the season. A guy who loves to spot up and find the open spots. Real good recognition, though, to find him in the front of the key.
And Indiana State gets on the board. 9-3 advantage. Tough play there as Ricks tried to penetrate. And loose ball controlled by Indiana State. It'll be Odom bringing it across.
Better squeeze defensively that trip.
Odom.
There he is again. Nice look.
Carter, same spot. And it rims out. Rebounded by Leonard for Missouri State. So just over 4 minutes gone by in this first half. Missouri Valley Conference Championship. Missouri State is 4 of 6 from the field. Indiana State 1 of 5. 9-3 lead for the Bears. Kyle Weems comes in averaging just over 16 points per game. Fourth-year junior. Long jumper. Leonard thought there was contact. It's out of bounds. Air ball.
Nothing there. He was looking for a little deflection on the elbow. Nothing there, though.
So a timeout. We'll keep it right here with Missouri State in front 9-3. How did these two teams get here? Missouri State, with a win over Southern Illinois, had to come from behind to get into the semifinals as the #1 seed. They rallied, then had to come from behind, handled Creighton to move to the final. Indiana State with the victories to get to the finals. Let's head to New York and Greg Gumbel. All right, Greg, thanks very much. So Kentucky continues to play at a high level, knocking off Tennessee 64-58 in the SEC. Here in the Missouri Valley Conference Championship, Missouri State off to the quick start, 9-3 lead over Indiana State.
You getting the sense with Kentucky that those kids, the young guys, were young about a month and a half ago, and now all of a sudden they're starting to grow up a little bit down the stretch, which is always a great time to start showing some maturity for John Calipari's squad.
15:23 to go in this first half. And Missouri State in front 9-3. Missouri State a 60-50 win over Creighton in the semifinals. Indiana State 61-54 victory over Wichita State. And the Sycamores having their best season since they last went to the NCAA tournament back in 2001. It's a Missouri Valley Conference Championship presented by State Farm here in St. Louis, Missouri. Scott Trade Center. Indiana State, the #3 seed at 19-13, taking on the top seed Missouri State. The Bears 25-7. Automatic bid to the NCAA tournament is on the line here. Conzo Martin in his 3rd year as the head coach of the Bears, and his team getting off to a hot start with a 9-3 lead over Indiana State. On the floor, Indiana State with Carter, Latham, Odom, Richard, and Walker. Missouri State with Mallett, Leonard, Shear, Weems, and Creekmore. So Missouri State having problems offensively in this tournament in the first half prior to this one.
They sure did yesterday in particular, but a good start here with the defense and offense transition. Everybody getting involved. We saw Mallett, we saw Leonard, we saw the breakaways. One of the things early on, and it's only 3.5 minutes deep, 4 minutes, 4.5 minutes deep, Ian, is the fact that Missouri State came out, tried to put a little knockout punch early to set things back.
Scott Thornley, John Higgins, Kelly Self, the officiating crew. Missouri State with a 9-3 lead. Indiana State with the basketball. Jake Odom, all freshman and all newcomer team in the Missouri Valley Conference, runs the show here for the Sycamores. Spread the floor. Walker was trying to get himself open on the inside. Here's Odom on the spin. Shot clock is down to 10. Latham, leading scorer on this team, just over 11 points per game. Nice shake and bake. Left hand, it doesn't go. Rebound got pumped up in the air, and Adam Leonard controls it.
That was a terrific breakdown off the dribble just then, too. Unfortunate, that's the second time Indiana State has taken it to the rack and not come away with a bucket.
Into the game, Nathan Shear for the first time, freshman from Washington, Missouri. Here's Creekmore, second-team All-MVC. Little pump, and he traveled. Hop step as Miles Walker was there defensively. Greg Lansing, first season as a head coach, Indiana State, now 19-13. His father Dave coached high school basketball for 33 years in the state of Iowa. Lansing replaced Kevin McKenna, who left to become an assistant at Oregon. Missouri State 9, Indiana State 3. The winner goes to the big dance.
And when we spoke to Coach Lansing yesterday, one of the things about this matchup, he knew that Missouri State, and they played 2 games, they were fairly competitive this year, knows that they're very tough at the defensive end of the floor.
R.J. Mahurin has checked in, redshirt freshman, and the floater goes down. Carl Richard getting excellent position. The junior from Chicago, a rugged 6'5", 220 pounds.
And how about the positioning right there, though, to establish himself, and that's one of the things Indiana State has not done real well early on in this game.
Weems connects for 3. Kyle Weems, who shoots it at 40% from beyond the arc, the leader of this Missouri State squad, in his first points of the day.
Yep, there's a good move there by Odom. I'm just surprised, once again, when those big guys step out. That's a smart guy in the backcourt, Odom. Defensively with the pick and rolls, when he has the basketball, watch for him to bump into the big guys, because I don't see why more guards don't do that on a regular basis, just to take them out of a pick and roll defensive situation.
Foul called against Isaiah Ryan, junior, who had just checked in for Missouri State. Jordan Prenty in the game now for Indiana State. They've got a lot of shooters on this squad, and there is no doubt that Greg Lansing will mix and match his lineup. Odom. Oh, Odom! Pretty fake going to the hole.
And when you touched on Iron, one of the keys will be for Indiana State, if they can knock a couple of shots back from long range, that will allow the seams in the floor to open up just like that for layups. So we'll see if their success outside can help them actually with their dribble penetration moves.
Jump shot, Mallet, short.
Nice work on the glass just then.
R.J. Mahurin with a box out of Rockville, Indiana. 12-7, Missouri State in front. 7 minutes gone by in this first half. Odom, he's got a great feel for the game, as you see there. Dump down for Carter and a foul call. Carter is going to the free throw line. So Missouri State with the wins over Southern Illinois, and Creighton had to rally in both of those games to get themselves into the final. Indiana State just edges out Evansville in the quarterfinals and then beats Wichita State 61-54 in the semifinals.
And neither of those 2 games in the semifinals were clear-cut games for either of those winning teams. Both going back and forth. Very, very competitive day yesterday afternoon, Saturday afternoon for the semifinals.
Jake Odom will get his first breather, and Steve McWhorter has checked in, a freshman. Aaron Carter, 86% free throw shooter, now has 5. 12-9, Missouri State.
I like the way Indiana State has answered back in the last 3 minutes.
Missouri State is in the Valley Final for the first time since 2005.
I know Weems can get shots off. Little fall away he likes.
Weems off the rim and rebound to Indiana State. It's Prenty now bringing it across.
3 blue jerseys again defensively.
Prenty fires. Book it, a 3.
47% from the line, from behind the line with the 3. So clearly that's my point before. If they can get a couple of those shots to really spread it out, what happens from Missouri State? They're going to have to come out and find the shooters.
It's a 12-3 run. Open look, Shear, short. Rebound, Ryan, just bigger than everybody inside.
Boy, the guys are swinging at him. There, 2 guys took a shot at him.
Nafis Ricks setting up the offense here for Missouri State. We are tied at 12. Leonard gives it up. Here's Weems, pull up pop for 2.
Weems is very good going to his left. That was a good indicator just then in terms of the work with Leonard, setting him up, dragging the ball away, and that allows Weems to get that isolation and put 1 dribble, 2 dribbles down. He's very good off the floor.
Weems, a tough matchup at 6'6", 232 pounds. Jumper doesn't go from the side. Mahurin is off the mark.
And Weems very involved at both ends of the floor early on. Yesterday in the semifinals, not so much in the first half.
Ryan filling the lane, unable to convert, but does save. Lined up, Weems, got it, a three.
Wow. That's generally one you want to reload, but he had that in rhythm. That was a couple of good strides out there on the floor. Boy, that was a bomb.
Some serious range. 8 points now for Weems in a 17-12 lead. Prenty gives it up. Jake Kelly in the game, also from Terre Haute, Indiana. Kelly, the transfer from Iowa. And a foul called as McWhorter was trying to curl his way towards the rim. Some of the greats in the Missouri Valley Conference basketball history. Ed Macaulay out of St. Louis back in the 40s. Oscar Robertson from Cincinnati. Larry Bird out of Indiana State. The X-Men, Xavier McDaniel from Wichita State. Hersey Hawkins out of Bradley. And Creighton's Kyle Korver, some of the MVC greats. Welcome back to the Missouri Valley Conference Championship presented by State Farm. Missouri State with a 17-12 lead over Indiana State. Iron Eagle along with Jim Spinarco. You win and you go to the NCAA tournament. So we certainly know what's on the line here. Early impressions of what you've seen so far.
I think the first thing that I saw was the way Missouri State came out with the confidence. They really attacked. They went up 7-0. So I think that was good. Indiana State, though, came back and showed that their depth, I think, which they play 11 guys and they all seem to get a lot of action, might factor in terms of keeping this game close.
Missouri State, we know they lean on their junior Kyle Weems, and he is not only the leader, but really has become an extension of the coach with his toughness. Hanzo Martin, that philosophy has spilled over.
Exactly, and the thing about it, he can score at different areas of the floor, but one of the things that was even more impressive than his play, we had a chance to speak with him for about 10 minutes yesterday, and everybody just walked away as impressed with him. Very articulate, smart. And boy, we asked him about scouting reports of games, and did he ever break down the game?
I think he could do your job.
No, not yet, not yet.
Nice spin move on the inside by Miles Walker, the junior college transfer. Junior from San Antonio, his first deuce.
If you're inferring that I can go out and do his job, that is not going to happen.
Yeah, I didn't say you could flip roles. 17-14, Missouri State, the #1 seed here in the Missouri Valley Conference Tournament. Creekmore, the jumper, no. And long rebound dribbled out to McWhorter. We are at the halfway point, first half. Walker, high arcing delivery, and Walker goes back to back. He's an anchor down low, a banger at 6'8", 250 pounds.
And in the semifinals at 14.6 rebounds, so he was probably the main clog in terms of their success yesterday's game.
Missouri State has not been to the NCAA tournament since 1999. They went to the Sweet 16 that year and lost to Duke. Mallet on a crossover. Leonard, he's got the screen from Creekmore.
Step out there by Walker.
Mallet, a jumper contested for three. Rebounded by Creekmore, another offensive board for Missouri State.
Long way to go for Walker just then to go out and play the high screen defensively and then try to get in front of Creekmore to keep him off the glass. Creekmore only 1 of 6 yesterday's semifinal game, Ian, so one of the things they need him to score a couple of points.
4 offensive rebounds now for the Bears in the first half. Ricks needs some help. Timer is down to 10. Leonard makes his move. Shot clock is winding down to 4. Leonard in and out for 3. And the rebound ripped down by Walker. Indiana State with a chance to take the lead. Indiana State now up to 50% shooting from the field. High-low action. It's Walker.
And he's a confident player right now. Watch out.
And a kick out for McWhorter.
Yeah, pretty good catch. I thought that was coming our way.
Kelly gives it up. Jump shot goes down. How about Carl Richard extending out shooting it at 35% from three-point territory. He's a guy that plays bigger than he is at 6'5".
And how about Jake Kelly allowing the cutter to go to the middle of the floor to drag a defender with him, and then you go to the perimeter. Look inside first. Boy, the outside will be open. It'll be interesting to see if Indiana State can continue to shoot the three as well as they have been.
7-0 run. That ball nearly went down as Ricks was able to release it. And a foul called. Indiana State with its first lead of the day. And Ricks is heading to the free throw line where he shoots it at 67%. Well, Missouri State, based in Springfield, Missouri, about 3.5 hours southwest of St. Louis. Large enrollment, founded back in 1905. They won the MVC tournament title back in '92. Ryan Howard. You're familiar with him, yeah?
I'm familiar with him.
And Jackie Stiles, the all-time leading scorer in women's college basketball history. As for Indiana State, based in Terre Haute, Indiana, founded back in 1865, 2 tournament titles, including 2001, the last time they went to the NCAA tournament. I think we all knew about Larry Bird. Did you know about? Yeah, I think we did. I know you did. Actor Burl Ives,
there you go,
famous alum at Indiana State, riding a 4-game winning streak. They were 5-6 to start the season, so they've come a long way. Here they are with a chance to go to the NCAA tournament.
And in speaking with Coach Greg Lansing yesterday, we asked him about Larry Bird, and he said Larry Bird is watching. He knows exactly what's going on, and I'm sure he is, and very proud of Indiana State and the run they've made here.
Well, Larry Bird, that '79 squad coached by Bill Hodges, National Coach of the Year that season. They went undefeated, eventually falling to Michigan State in the national championship game. Tied at 19. It's Latham on the outside. Post-up opportunity for Walker. Lucas Idle is in the game. Walker doesn't get the roll. Idle got a piece of it.
I think that's going to be Richard, though. A little bit of traffic with a grab down deep.
Well, it's going to go the other way as Richard picks up the personal foul, and we've got a timeout. Missouri State, the #1 seed. Indiana State, the #3 seed. We are tied at 19. Winner goes to the NCAAs. Look at the game summary with Indiana State and Missouri State tied at 19. Indiana State struggled early offensively. They picked it up now. 7 of 14 from the field, including 3 of 6 from three-point territory. And Jimmy, turnovers are very low. Just 2 for Indiana State. Missouri State with only 1.
Well, Missouri State's not going to turn it over much at all. They only average a little under 11 turnovers a game, so that's one of the things they pride themselves with, going up and down the floor. They like to get out with the transition, which they really haven't been able to. If you recall, in the first 3 minutes of this game, there was 1 steal and a transition bucket, but other than that, they haven't gotten out and really gotten up and down the floor that quickly.
Mallet gives it up for Leonard off the timeout. We approach 7 minutes to go first half. Leonard, he's got it, a 3. Adam Leonard, one of the top long-range shooters in the Valley. Second 3 of the day.
And number 5 in active players in the Division I basketball with shooting and making threes. So clearly that's one of the game plans in the scouting report. You got to trace him, stay chest to chest with him so he doesn't break you down from long range.
Jake Odom back in. Odom.
What a great touch. That's going to count, too.
Jake Odom gets the deuce and a chance at a three-point play.
Boy, take a watch at this drag through the middle of the floor, and watch how he spins the basketball. He kind of half throws it with a backspin on it, so what's going to happen when a ball gets up on the rim, it's got so much spin on it that it's going to die and drop for you. Beautifully done.
He's just got some sizzle to his game.
He sure does.
Redshirt freshman from Terre Haute, shooting 75% from the free throw line. Has gained 12 pounds since enrolling at Indiana State.
I was standing by him before the game also. He could put another 12 on. Not like me, where I could take another 12
really?
off.
Self-deprecation.
There you go.
We're tied at 22.
But Odom's fun to watch, though. Nice play defensively.
Odom with a block on Leonard out of the corner. That one went through the hands of Weems and a turnover. On the run, Latham. Into the hands of Odom.
You know, Odom's the type of guy who wants to beat you with plays. Doesn't matter what type either.
Double up on Richard. Latham trying to take the baseline. Kick out for Odom. Plenty of time on the shot clock. We come up on 6 minutes to play in this first half. Latham. Tough shot. Latham hanging and hits.
And positioning, it's one of the keys to getting your jump shot off in traffic. If you're able to, at the same time, put the ball on the floor and use your body to space and bump and separate. Well done again at the offensive end. Indiana State has now recovered in terms of their confidence as a team over the last 5 or 6 minutes.
24-22, Indiana State leading Missouri State, the finals of the Missouri Valley Conference Tournament. The drive, and Mallett gets the bucket. Solid inside-outside ability. Jermaine Mallett, co-captain, senior from Jackson, Mississippi. He's got 6.
There's a big reason they're here in terms of winning their regular season championship, too, against Wichita State. Last game of the year in the regular season, I played very, very well in terms of the numbers. One
of these two teams will be punching their ticket to the NCAA tournament with an automatic bid. Jump shot from the side doesn't go for Richard. Rebound battled for, and Mallett rips it down for Missouri State. First ever Missouri State regular season title out of the MVC. Mallett, the leaner, he's fouled.
Well, the interesting part about Missouri State, 3 seasons ago, they were last in this league. They've gone from last place to first place in 3 seasons. Not a bad improvement. Coach Martin doing a terrific job.
So a new shot clock for Missouri State to work with, just under 5 minutes to play in this first half. Creekmore gives it up for Ricks. Tied at 24. Conference Player of the Year, Weems. Floater doesn't go. Rebound cleaned up by Mallett. So put 2 more on the board for Jermaine Mallett. Excellent all-around skills. He's got 8. Missouri State up by 2. Latham lines it up. Rebounded by Nathan Shear from Missouri State. Count it down to 4 minutes remaining in this first half. 4 ties, 4 lead changes. Missouri State got off to the quick start, led by 9. Mallett, a jumper. Grazed the rim, battle for the loose ball, and a travel call. It'll work against Nafees Ricks. Coming up tonight on CBS, the Amazing Race is in Japan, where the teams slip, slide, and take aim to stay in the game. New Amazing Race, that's tonight only CBS. Just the 3rd turnover for the Bears, leading Indiana State by 2.
Missouri State doing a good job on the glass, too. 14-8. And they're clearing it. They're working the offensive glass a little bit better also.
They split 2 regular season meetings. Carter steps through. It comes off the rim, no. And knocked out of bounds off of Indiana State. Missouri State will have the basketball when we come back. 3:40 remaining. First half. The #1 seed in the Missouri Valley Championship leads by 2. AT&T and CBSSports.com keep you up to speed on the latest NCAA basketball highlights, scores, and analysis right on your AT&T phone, whether at home or on the go. 26-24, Missouri State leading Indiana State with 3:40 to play in this first half. Indiana State really picked it up in the second half in the semifinal win over Wichita State. They went on an 18-1 run, 33-13 extended run. This is a team that was picked to finish 7th in the MVC in the preseason, and they lost 5 straight games in late January and early February. So certainly at that point you weren't thinking that Indiana State could go on a run and maybe get to the NCAA tournament. Here they are, down by 2 against the #1 seed in the Missouri Valley Conference. Missouri State with the basketball. Shear, the freshman, remains in out of Washington, Missouri. And it's going the other way. So another turnover. Coming up, AT&T at the half. Greg Gumbel, Greg Anthony, Seth Davis, all the scores and highlights, and the latest NCAA tournament news, plus a Naismith Watch presented by AT&T. It's all coming up on AT&T at the half. Creekmore called on the offensive foul. Here's McCorder using the screen from Carter. Prenty. Oh, a bomb for three. Jordan Prenty, the fourth-year junior, brings that perimeter presence. His second three. Indiana State up by one.
And he just needs a split second and a little bit of space to get it off. Difficult guy to guard because your tendency is try to help your teammates. And boy, but if you leave him, you're really going to be in trouble and pay for it.
Part of the Missouri Valley Conference all-bench team. He won a state title in high school in Marion, Iowa for Linmar.
Great work defensively again. Look at Walker, a defensive presence just then. He was like a wall.
And a tie-up. Possession arrow to Indiana State.
Well, here's the space. You give him a second, and boy, he's going to let it go. And here's that defensive Walker effort. Nice work, and then look at the blue shirts come in. Three of them come in a bit and really go after the basketball. So they're playing with an uplift. They get some good confidence, Indiana State. 3 consecutive turnovers now for the Bears. Indiana State with a 27-26 lead. Odom gives it up. Latham thought about it. Penetration. Odom to the rim. And a foul called. Odom had that ball hit off the bottom of the backboard, and a push was called. Foul on Mallet. A little bit of action right there coming right at us.
Yeah, we asked Greg Lansing, what questions did you have about this team when you took over as the head coach? He said, first and foremost, where was the leadership going to come from and the toughness? And he said, this young kid, Jake Odom, answered both of those questions. He's filled that role. He said he's just made of the right stuff. It took a little while for the other players to recognize it, but when they did, this team started to take off.
Well, that's interesting, too, because as a young guy, the older guys don't want to believe that, really. The tendency is that if I'm a junior or a senior, I've been here longer, it's my team, I want to lead. And then finally, coach just says, hey, guys, this kid knows what he's doing. he's got the throttle. Let's follow him. He'll lead. And he's very unselfish on him, too, so that's why you let him lead.
Creekmore gives it up inside. Mallet off the rim. No. Creekmore the follow. That won't go. Mallet remains in there. And another tie-up. This time, possession arrow to Missouri State. The Bears wanted a foul called on the inside. They didn't get it for Conzo Martin.
It's 17-9 off the glass with Missouri State leading in that department, but they haven't been able to catch it off the glass and go with it offensively. A couple times they've had to bring the ball down to the floor, and the last 2 tie-ups that's because Indiana State was able to get back with their 3 guys on the glass and at least get the tie-up.
Jump shot, Weems, short.
Not looking to run at all. They could have kicked the ball out to Odom that trip and run the floor, but they're looking to get their half-court sets.
Indiana State up by 2. Toss it in for Walker. Twirling on Creekmore. And he threw it away. Right to Ricks. Now it's a race to the rim. Ricks is fouled hard by Odom. Now Feast Ricks, the quick point guard, will go to the free throw line.
Well, Walker was in trouble. I thought he could have been called for a 3-second violation to begin with. Well, let's take a look there. Going for the basketball, so I don't think there was anything intentional here. Unfortunately, he grabs him by the arms as he was extending, but Odom going after the basketball, and the right hand looks a little troublesome right there. We'll take a look and see if it bothers Ricks on his shot right here.
Nafis Ricks, the National Junior College Player of the Year in 2009. Didn't seem to bother him there.
Nope.
Out of Johnson County Community College in Kansas. Get a change here. Caleb Patterson, who did not play in the semifinal game, has checked in. Solid backup big man at 6'11", 260 pounds from Ames, Oklahoma. Ricks in and out on the second attempt. And Indiana State with a 1-point lead. 1:32 to go in this first half.
This is why this is a nice matchup at the point guard with Odom and Ricks. Ricks number 3 in the conference in terms of assists. Good effort getting on the floor. Ricks out ahead.
Off the steal, Ricks lays it in.
You see that extra step there by Ricks in terms of as he was dribbling the basketball, he cut to the middle of the floor not allowing the defender to get a good angle for a block.
Jermaine Mallett, part of the MVC all-defensive team, making plays. Timeout. Next Sunday, live at 6 Eastern, the madness begins. Who's in, who's out, who's playing whom, and when. Get it all and get it fast on the NCAA Basketball Championship Selection Show right here on CBS. And CBSSports.com has got a new and improved fantasy baseball. It's been upgraded for the 2011 season. Choose your game today at CBSSports.com/baseball. 29-28, Missouri State in front. Indiana State with the basketball. 1 minute to play in this first half. Almost a turnover. Walker was over there to retrieve the ball, and a foul was called.
Yeah, Walker's hustle just then got him to the basketball.
And they're going to get a foul called on Carter with a push.
Yeah, but maybe that's why Walker was clear to the basketball, right?
Indiana State beat Missouri State January the 19th, 70-69 at home, and then Missouri State returned the favor on February the 5th, 73-66.
And that game was more competitive, more like the first one in terms of the point differential, even though it was a 7. Good step out again by Walker.
Indiana State has turned it over 3 straight times down the floor. Patterson on a back end, turnaround. He's got it on the bank.
And not only the bank guy, but also a big using his body for separation. We've seen the guards do that a little bit, but beautiful in terms of, I'm going to bump you with the basketball, and then when I get your knees to lock a little bit, I'm going to turn and shoot and use the glass.
Shot clock has been turned off. 15 seconds to play in this first half. Trying to get the ball to Odom. Richard holds it. 8 seconds left. Over for Latham. 5 seconds left. Tight defense. Suffocating. And a foul called. Latham put that one off the window, but the foul was called before the shot. With 2.4 remaining on the clock.
And that's the 7th team foul right there.
So it will send Latham to the free throw line.
Boy, was there ever congestion, and right before the reach in. So it wasn't part of the shot. It was actually before with the push. And keep in mind, with 2.4 seconds left, Missouri State can go up the floor, but Indiana State has 5 team fouls, so they have a foul to give if they're paying attention if they get in trouble.
Second foul called against Jermaine Mallett. Latham no good at the line. At the horn, Leonard. It's off the mark. Missouri State in front of Indiana State, 31-28 at the half. We'll send you to Greg Gumbel with AT&T at the half. Coming up after these messages, you're watching CBS Sports on our 30th road to the Final Four. CBS Sports coverage of the Missouri Valley Conference Championship is sponsored by Lexus. Escape convention in the radically new Lexus CT Hybrid. AT&T. Rethink possible. And by Sears. CBS Sports coverage of the Missouri Valley Conference Championship is sponsored by Mercedes-Benz, located on the web at MBUSA.com. The Capital One Venture Card. What's in your wallet? And by Buffalo Wild Wings. You have to be here. Back in St. Louis, the gateway to the West. This is the Missouri Valley Conference Championship presented by State Farm. Missouri State up by 3 on Indiana State. Iron Eagle along with Jim Spinarco. You know there's a sense of urgency in these kinds of situations. The winner goes to the NCAA tournament. Your thoughts on the first half?
I thought Indiana State did a nice job of preventing the tempo of going up and down with Missouri State. They only had 4 fast break transition points, and I think Missouri State would love to have more than that, but they just have not been able to get on track. So Indiana State controlled that tempo pretty well.
All right, let's take a look at our Applebee's first half stats. Rebounding numbers certainly favored Missouri State off the offensive glass. Three-point shooting, Indiana State went 4 of 9, but the offensive rebound's a big key.
And that will continue to be a key in the second half because they had 9 points off those second chance opportunities. Even though Indiana State likes to really rebound by committee, they have to find a way to put some bodies on the Missouri State players at first to keep them out of the lane and get some contact first.
Second half underway from Scott Trade Center in St. Louis. 31-28, the #1 seed. Missouri State leading the way. Carter, baseline, Richard lays it in. He got 2 Missouri State players in the air and was able to duck through to get the deuce. He's got 7.
Yeah, Missouri State looked like almost as if they were playing a matchup zone just then, possibly a touch of confusion, and nobody really delivers on the baseline defensively.
Nafis Ricks gives it up for Mallet with a fake. And Mallet a little too physical going into the paint, and he's called on the offensive foul.
Now watch the body action right now. It's going to be this little bump right there with the shoulder. And defensively, Carter knew exactly when he got hit, and then you flail your arms and throw your shoulders back a little bit. That brings the attention of the officials to you, and you end up getting the call. It's going to be interesting to see how Odom controls the tempo of this second half again.
Bank shot doesn't fall for Latham. Ricks with a head of steam. Cut off there.
Yep, just lost it going through the middle of the floor.
And a turnover. Missouri State, one of 4 Division I teams to have the same starting 5 the entire season for Conzo Martin, who was a terrific player in his own right at Purdue. And then an assistant coach under his mentor, Gene Cady, for a number of years with the Boilermakers.
And Gene Cady having some fun with St. John's this year, huh? Steve Lavin and company doing a nice job.
Strong turn.
Oh, just missed it.
Walker. Missouri State with a 1-point lead, just underway in the second half. Nathan Shear. Low pass. It was kicked. No whistle. Richard scoops it up. Shear gets back, and he's called for the foul. So Carl Richard will head to the free throw line, 81% shooter.
Well, this is Creekmore defensively doing the job defensively against Walker. He just kind of hits the ball a little bit and forces Walker to push it across the rim. That was not a problem I had, I am playing up that high.
We have no highlights, Jimmy. I'm sorry.
None exist.
Of your Duke days above the rim. Carl Richard, a cousin of Dwayne Wade, same high school. Out of Chicago, Illinois. Indiana State tournament profile. They're 19-13. RPI is low. Strength of schedule is low. Bottom line is they have to win the game to get into the NCAA tournament.
The old theory of win and you're in. And they know that, I think, coming in. They have their presence of mind to understand that. No shocker to them.
32-31. Indiana State in front. Just about 2 minutes elapsed in this second half. Ricks directing traffic. Kyle Weems been a little quiet, conference player of the year.
Yeah, you wonder with Weems, who had 10 of his 15 points in the second half in the semifinal game, him and Mallet are probably going to have to really get on track. Both had 8 in the first half.
Physical point guard Nafis Ricks, and the ball leaked out to the corner, scooped up by Odom. Indiana State trying to add to its lead. Odom taking it coast to coast for the Sycamores.
That's how he kind of dictates the flow of their transition. It's not a real bust out, but he's constantly reading the floor. And with that, not only reading the floor for passing opportunities, but he waits long enough to let the seams open up for his drives.
Weems, a jump shot. He was flustered a bit on the perimeter.
That was Odom again. Odom ran to the right side of Weems. Didn't run at him or through him. Went to his right side, the shooting side.
Latham, too high for Walker and a break opportunity. Low, a skimmer pass, and Ricks lost it. Foul called.
Well, you look, see, he just delays enough to wait. And that forces defenders to go out to the perimeter, and then he just waits and waits and then attacks. He's really a smart player, Odom, and that's why they gave him the keys to the car, and just said, listen, you take it and run with it.
Second foul called against Aaron Carter. Missouri State down by 3. It's been a struggle in the second half. Leonard, jump shot off the rim, and the rebound tracked down by Carter.
They set that look for him to come out and look to fire.
Latham, a high flyer, and a foul called. Latham is going to the free throw line to shoot a pair, with Indiana State in front 34-31. How about Missouri State, the #1 seed here in the Missouri Valley Conference tournament? Normally you'd think, well, #1 seed with the kind of record that they have, maybe they'd get a shot at the NCAA tournament even with a loss here. What's your thoughts?
I think there's a good possibility of that happening, but you look at that strength of schedule, that's going to be the determination of whether or not they get in. And clearly an effort this afternoon is key also in terms of the way they play down the stretch.
Nathan Shear will head to the bench, his 4th personal foul. And second free throw coming up for Dwayne Latham. Younger brother Terrell is a high school defensive end in Louisiana and a major recruit. He has given up basketball to focus solely on football. It's 8-0 to start this second half. Indiana State has got its largest lead of the day.
And Missouri State started this game at 7-0 too, so a little bit of runs to start things off. Here's the guy they got to get on track.
Well, Weems look to take over. Doesn't go on the floater. Odom the other way, trying to shift gears on the perimeter. Nice screen and roll. Walker missed the big finish, and a foul called. It's going to be Nick Valla getting the personal foul as he tried to get there in time for Walker.
And I love the call too. A lot of times we see in the college game where you go into your move, guys step underneath the basket and slide underneath, and you get called for a charge. I think that was the correct call for Walker getting to the line.
And the 4th team foul against Missouri State. Walker, a 41% shooter at the free throw line.
And that's why Walker has to finish that move to the basket. You look at those numbers. You do not want those numbers being close to one another.
And missed them both.
Yeah, so you give up a dunk just then by missing the dunk. Not to fault him, because obviously he's trying to get that dunk, but then you send a 41% shooter to the line. That's a good trade-off.
Here's Ricks. Just about 4 minutes gone by in the second half. Missouri State has been stymied offensively. Ricks, high arc or no. Offensive rebound. Creekmore, the leaner. That won't go. Kept on the board. Valla inside, denied, and a foul called. Missouri State is 0 of 5 in the second half with 4 turnovers, and now an opportunity to put some points on the board.
You know, Vala's only played in 14 games, 86 minutes, so they don't really go all that deep. So an opportunity, pretty big time game here for him to get some minutes.
And the freshman now 3 of 3 at the line on the season. Tonight on CBS, the mayor of Cincinnati is going undercover. But how does the most recognizable person in the city keep from blowing his cover? It's all new. Undercover Boss. That's tonight. Only CBS. Richard called on a second foul. And the Chicago native Nick Valla will get his second attempt.
He may have been going a little undercover with the lack of minutes that he's had this year, but so far so good. He got himself into the middle of the mix there and got to the free throw line.
1 out of 2, the all-time leading scorer at Marist High School, also was a standout wide receiver. And the walk-on splits a pair. On the outside, Jordan Prenty.
Yeah, he's got to stay with him. Vala's got to stay with Prenty because he's open in the corner right now.
Richard, high pass for Prenty. Valla closes defensively. Shot clock is down to 12. Latham gives it up. Prenty, high-low. The steal by Richard. And a foul called on the inside against Kyle Weems. 36-32, Indiana State in front of Missouri State. Who will be dancing? We'll find out. The winner goes to the NCAA tournament.
It's March. Take a deep breath.
Here we go.
Oh, it almost went in. Got to be. How about the big fella? Come on. Oh, my goodness.
We are officially in March, and the madness is just around the corner. Missouri Valley Conference has had success in the NCAA tournament. Look at the Sweet 16 teams they've put together since 2002, including Northern Iowa with that magic carpet ride last year. Conzo Martin is hoping Missouri State can be the team that moves on. Roberta Martin, the wife of Conzo Martin, the head coach of the Bears, and a sleepy little one as well.
Not exciting enough. March Madness?
Yeah, is she getting our feed? Is that the problem? 36-32 Indiana State.
Just the play-by-play side.
She loves your coverage, Jimmy. Just about 5 minutes elapsed in this second half. Indiana State with the basketball. Missouri State really struggling in the second half. 0 of 5 from the field, now 36% overall. Half court set. Off the spin, McWhorter, the freshman, gives it up. Another freshman. Mahurin doesn't get the roll. And rebound knocked out of bounds off of Richard. Missouri State will take over. Conzo Martin. We talked to Kyle Weems. He said, look, we've taken on our coach's toughness. Coach Martin is a cancer survivor. He was diagnosed with cancer in 1998. He's been able to beat it. His mentality is rubbed off on this Bears squad. They've been resilient throughout the year, and here they are down by 4. The number 1 seed trailing 3rd-seeded Indiana State 36-32. Off the turn, and a foul called. Caleb Patterson will go to the free throw line, and Martin, big part of the Purdue teams in the early 90s, played professional basketball for 4 years. Played in the NBA, stints with Vancouver and Milwaukee in the CBA and in Italy.
A little over 1,600 points in his career in college, but one of the interesting parts of the conversation we had with him was we asked him about, does he bring up the way he played? He said, really, that's in the past. I'm trying to teach these kids how to be successful, and I love the way he talked about, he doesn't beat them up in terms of practices and games, but tries to talk about the positives and being successful both on the floor and away from the floor.
Caleb Patterson, transfer from Colorado, at the free throw line. 87% shooter, cuts into the Indiana State lead. 36-34. Indiana State has not been to the NCAA tournament since 2001. They pulled off a first-round upset over Oklahoma. Look out! Big finish. It's R.J. Mahurin, the redshirt freshman, getting right down the lane.
And I think he was surprised, and I mean surprised, that the middle of the floor opened up as quickly as he did, because he fumbled the ball for a second and then finished it off.
Leonard doesn't go. Weems working hard on the inside, and a foul called.
You take a look at this. All of a sudden, he doesn't get it cleanly right there. Hangs up a little bit. Then where is everybody defensively? Nobody's home. Might as well go up and finish one off. Wow, defensively, nobody stepping into the weak side to defend the middle of the floor for Missouri State.
So Kyle Weems, 80% shooter at the line. Top 10 in the conference in 11 of 13 statistical categories. He just fills up a box score.
Came in as a preseason all-league player, and boy, did he ever answer that, huh?
He's been the most complete player in the conference. His parents, including his father, Kevin, who played at Drury University in Springfield, Missouri.
A little intensity there and anxiety, huh? With the family over there. They don't look happy. The team is not winning.
It's been a fantastic season for Missouri State, but they're trying to finish the deal.
Absolutely.
They trail 38-36. Kelly way outside for Indiana State. Kelly's been a contributor, just under 9 points per game. Prenty now on the perimeter against Leonard. Shot clock is down to 8. Kelly, the drive and kick for Odom. Shot clock winding down. Odom, spin, lost the ball, and a turnover. 2-on-1 developing. It's Malik giving it up. Doesn't go down for Ricks, but he's headed to the free throw line, and it will be Prenty picking up the personal.
First, Missouri State does the work at the defensive end. They hold them down, Indiana State, not allowing them to get a good shot off, even though Odom had the basketball at the end. You think he's going to be able to create. Nice hands right there, and I love the pass at the end of this play. Watch the drop off. It gives you an opportunity to score rather than go just to the free throw line, even though he's going for the 2.
And Ricks does get to the free throw line quite a bit as he knocks down the first. Coming up this week on Dave, don't miss, Justin Bieber Adam Sandler, Howard Stern, and tomorrow, Betty White, followed by The Late Late Show with Craig Ferguson, only CBS. Nafis Ricks spent 1 year at Maine Central, a prep school, before moving on to junior college and eventually with Missouri State.
And one of the 4 seniors on this Missouri State team that plays most of the way. We take a look at our team fouls, which are even coming down the stretch, but a lot of experience for Missouri State out there.
And the scoreboard is even as well, 38 apiece. Hard drive, Odom on a kick out for Carter. Odom, the penetration. He's got deceptive speed. Draws defenders. Carter cans a 3. Aaron Carter, high energy, aggressive senior from Cannelton, Indiana.
And if he doesn't know Odom as well as anybody by now, he really understands that Odom will find him. And we take a look at that. No field goals from Missouri State, having some troubles. Nice cut.
Ricks, the dish off. Wow. And Weems missed it on the inside. Sticking with it. It's a tie-up.
Tie-up, yeah.
And possession arrow to Missouri State. They'll hold on to the basketball.
You take a look at Odom, the way he finds people on the floor. He's going to come through and look to the corner and watch him hang everybody up, and he delays enough, Ian, just to make sure that all the defensive guys see him, think he's going to score, and he drags it to the middle and then kicks it to the corner.
Indiana State up by 3. Weems on a skip pass. Leonard.
Good work out there by Kelly defensively.
Puts it on the deck, fade away. That's a tough shot.
Yep.
And it's rebounded by Latham.
Yeah, they haven't run out. I don't know if there's been many run outs at all for Indiana State.
Odom, cross-court feed for Carter. Carter leading in for the deuce. In attack mode, Aaron Carter is in double figures. He's got 10.
Well, everybody saw him bury one from the right side, so what are you thinking if you're defending him? I'm thinking, well, I got to go out and defend that 3. Come out standing up. You're in trouble if you do. He goes right by a terrific drive to the hoop.
This equals their largest lead, 43-38. Under 12 minutes to go, second half, here in St. Louis. Patterson, short.
Boy, they clamping down defensively. They are really squeezing the middle of the floor. Frustration foul in the backcourt there by Ricks.
It'll be Ricks picking it up. Missouri State is 0 of 9 in the second half. We'll come back to St. Louis after this message and a word from your local station. You're watching CBS Sports, our 30th road to the Final Four. Life's good here at the Missouri Valley Conference Tournament, and LG, as a proud NCAA corporate partner, invites you to celebrate game day moments here from St. Louis. Well, they do a terrific job here at the Missouri Valley Conference Tournament. Arch Madness, Doug Elgin, the commissioner of the Missouri Valley Conference. We appreciate his hospitality. Missouri State in the second half, no field goals. All of their points have come at the free throw line, 7 of 8, and they trailed the number 3 seed Indiana State 43-38. And there is Doug Elgin. We had a chance to sit down with Doug yesterday. You can sense that fans come from all areas and congregate here in St. Louis every single year. Great crowds yesterday, another excellent crowd here today.
Yeah, we talked just a moment ago, you did, Ian, about the Missouri State troubles at the offensive end. That's primarily because Indiana State happens to be the #1 defensive team in this league percentage-wise, and they just can't get on track at the offensive end of the floor just then, but they are doing it defensively, that's for sure.
The last Missouri Valley Conference tournament title for Missouri State was back in 1992. Charlie Spoonhour was the head coach, and Coach Spoonhour is recovering from a lung transplant surgery at Duke Medical Center. We wish him and his family all the best. Open look. Mallett can't convert. Knocked outside, and it's tracked down by Indiana State. Carter on the move. A blocking foul called against Leonard. Aaron Carter got down the floor in a hurry, and Leonard is banged up. He is clutching that left knee, the 7th team foul against the Bears.
And it's because of Carter going aggressively. It's the right call from the officials. Hopefully Leonard's okay, but just never got the position. And when Carter crossed to the middle of the floor, that gives him the opportunity. You know, both of these guys are on the move, never really got himself defensively positioned properly, Leonard.
And Leonard will remain on the floor, but try to stretch it out right now. And it looks like Nathan Shear is going to come in and replace Adam Leonard. Gets a nice reaction from those Missouri State fans, and I'm sure most of the people watching right now heard about the tragedy. Adam Leonard's cousin, 16-year-old Wes Leonard, passed away after collapsing following a game-winning shot for Fenville High School in Michigan on Thursday. And certainly our thoughts and prayers are with the Leonard family. Now Adam Leonard is just trying to walk it off through the tunnel.
That looked like a knee-on-knee, so they're going to tend to him, but I would be shocked if he's not back on this floor soon.
Senior from Lee Summit, Missouri. Largest lead for Indiana State. Inside, Mallett had it knocked away. And Indiana State continues to gain momentum in this second half.
Continues to be a sea of blue down deep defensively, and there's another frustration foul in the backcourt by Ricks.
Indiana State is shooting 54% overall. Missouri State is down to 31%, 0 of 11 in the second half.
And the team fouls are piling up on Missouri State also. They have 8 right now.
And 5 against Indiana State as Leonard checks back in. One and one for Jake Odom, 75% shooter. And it's rebounded by Mallett.
Good looking stroke there. He can't believe it didn't go in.
Ricks blocking foul.
I think that's the right call also.
6th team foul. Odom with a smile after getting helped up.
I think that's the smile of a guy who just likes to play basketball right then. He thought he had the position, but Ricks kind of slid to his left to pick up the blocking foul.
And the 3rd foul against the Indiana State point guard. So Odom's going to get a breather and replaced by Steve McWhorter.
This is where that depth comes into play. Indiana State plays a lot of guys. And Missouri State goes to the bench, really only 2 guys deep.
Weems had it blocked on the perimeter, and it's Carter who extended out. Carter now running the floor, and he's pushed by Weems. So free throws coming up for Aaron Carter. Winner here will go to the NCAA tournament. Already in. UNC Asheville out of the Big South. Belmont, what a season they've put together from the Atlantic Sun. And Morehead State from the Ohio Valley Conference. Already in.
And more teams to come. Sooner than later. Oh boy, Indiana State doing a good job here. And Aaron Carter, 11 points. But the way he's playing, the tempo he's setting, the aggressiveness at the offensive end of the floor has really been a nice uptick for Indiana State.
Aaron's brother Matthew played basketball at Southern Indiana. Carter was recruited by Greg Lansing when he was an assistant coach, and that's why Lansing's transition has been so smooth to the head coaching role. He knew all of the players on this team quite well from the recruiting process. 8-0 run, largest lead.
Well, just can't get on track, get anything. There you go, get something clear on the block.
Creekmore had it denied, and a foul called. Creekmore is going to the free throw line where he shoots it at 61%. Miles Walker is looking for an explanation.
You know, good adjustment there in the fly by Missouri State, and they need to get to the free throw line, or, you know, really that's where they've been scoring. But in terms of getting to the line, at least it helps them to get some confidence. But they really cannot get on track going towards the basket, and they can't get anything on the blocks.
Academic all-star Will Creekmore, 3.67 GPA, major of finance. Tough. 6'9", 248-pound big man out of Tulsa, Oklahoma. transferred from Boston University. Doesn't get the
Nice
roll.
tip.
Tip in, doesn't go. And that has been the story of this second half. There's a lid on that basket for Missouri State. Indiana State coughs it up. Disjointed as Kelly couldn't track it down. The Bears are now 0 of 13 from the field in the second half. They trail 46-39.
They're lucky to be down only 7 at this point. Unfortunate for Mallet just then, though, because he snuck in there, nearly got that one to go. Let's see if they get a little bit of movement away from the ball here.
Automatic bid to the NCAA tournament on the line here. Leonard curls to the rim, and he lays it in.
See how he followed Creekmore just then? It was kind of a moving screen, but it really wasn't, because Creekmore was just vacating. Terrific decision just then by Leonard to go all the way to the glass.
Adam Leonard, the transfer from Eastern Kentucky, played in the NCAA tournament in 07, a loss to North Carolina. Back in, Walker short. Latham got his hands on it. Offensive rebound. Reset here for Indiana State. We are under 9 minutes to play now. And the Sycamores in front by 5. Working around the perimeter. Kelly. Found an opening, and with the offhand, Jake Kelly gets the deuce, his first 2 of the day.
Between him and Odom, they have 2 guys who like to attack in a stylish fashion, to hesitate. Herky-jerky drives to the basket.
Mallet lost his footing.
Yep, nearly a travel.
Ricks on a kick out. Weems lines it up. Missed it. Creekmore the rebound. Now it's Mallet on the way. Up 3. Boy, did they ever need that. Jermaine Mallet from long range. He's got 11. Timeout.
You're absolutely right in terms of a huge shot in this game to get some confidence back.
48-44, Indiana State in front. CBS Sports coverage of the Missouri Valley is sponsored by HTC. At HTC, every innovation we create is inspired by you. Buick. See real stories of human achievement on the Buick Human Highlight Reel coming March 15. And by Bud Light. It's the sure sign of a good time. Here we go. This is the Missouri Valley Conference Championship presented by State Farm. Indiana State with a 48-44 lead over top-seeded Missouri State. And coming up tonight on 60 Minutes, the closest you could ever imagine getting to one of the most dangerous predators on earth. You'll see it on 60 Minutes tonight, only CBS. Gonzo Martin's team, they've been walking a tightrope throughout this tournament, coming from behind in the quarterfinals, and then doing it again in the semifinals. And here they are trailing Indiana State 48-44.
They've been pretty much doing that all season long, coming from behind.
They beat Southern Illinois 58-56 in the quarters, then defeated Creighton 60-50 in the semis. Here's Prenty off the dribble. Prenty creates his own shot, and Jordan Prenty knocks it down. His sister Jamie, the Big Ten Freshman of the Year last season at Iowa, and she's a player. 8 points now for Prenty off the bench. 50-44. Jump shot doesn't go for Shear. Unable to produce from the outside. Carter steps into the 3, and a foul called. Carter will shoot 3 free throws. Jermaine Mallet called on the personal. Second half action continues from St. Louis. Game summary, outstanding second half here for Indiana State as Missouri State continues to falter, down to 31% shooting. 2 of 17 from the field in the second half.
And it is happening clearly at this defensive end of the floor. Missouri State trying to get on track against the best defensive team field goal percentage-wise, but just not working. Their defense allowing slips to the basket. So overall, they are just in a little bit of a fog right now and really have to find a way to shake themselves.
Missouri State hasn't been to the NCAA tournament since 1999. They went to the Sweet 16 that year with Steve Alford as their head man, eventually moving on to Iowa and then down to New Mexico. First free throw goes down for Carter. He's got 2 more coming.
You know, it's interesting with Aaron Carter, Ian. in his career, he's at the line shooting 3. He's taken 3s, gotten fouled, and made the extra shot for a 4 7 times in his career.
He's called Mr. 4-point play.
It's unbelievable. I don't remember hearing that about anybody.
Carter will sit down. Indiana State has matched its largest lead. We are down to 7:35 remaining in this second half. The #1 seed in the Missouri Valley Conference in trouble. Creekmore gives it up. Leonard, the senior. Shear looks to the inside.
Yeah, they're looking for the touches down deep. Nice
Ricks,
work.
good fake. Layup doesn't go. Tip in does. And it's Creekmore who popped it upstairs.
Only because Creekmore was able to and patient enough to throw the ball out of the blocks. Ricks looks like he's struggling a little bit right now, too.
Yeah, he's in some pain. He's defending Odom on the outside. Odom gets around him.
Odom will take advantage of you, too, when he sees a weakness.
Into the hands of Prenty. 52-46 Sycamores. Creekmore shows defensively. Walker was open. They get it to him. No, they don't. Out of bounds.
Pass was a touch late. He was open about 3 strides before that. And you take a look now defensively, because Walker releases, that allows Creekmore to come across for a little bit of tip. And there's the pass. A split second sooner, Walker was wide open for a dunk.
Yeah, they had the right idea. The timing was off. Ball movement. Kyle Weems. Wow. That won't go. And the struggles continue for the Missouri Valley Conference Player of the Year. Kyle Weems out of Topeka, Kansas. He's 3 of 14 from the field. Timeout, Indiana State. We'll step aside with 6:28 to play. Second half. It's a 6-point game. March Madness, it's coming, and you can live it in a whole new way. Every game in its entirety on 4 different networks. It all begins March 13th. Selection Sunday here on CBS. Then the first 4 on True TV, March 15th and 16th. Second and third round coverage on CBS, TBS, TNT, and True TV. And the regionals on CBS and TBS with the final 4 on CBS. We've got you covered. The 2011 NCAA Tournament. Missouri State is 3 of 20 from the field in the second half. Indiana State is 7 of 11. And a turnover. Leonard now on the move.
Good decision right there to pull it back out. They had nothing going. Pretty good transition defense by Indiana State.
The penetration. Leonard kick out. Ricks with the extra feed. Ball movement. Leonard spots up for 3. No. Creekmore. Last touched by Indiana State. Coming up Wednesday on CBS. Tracking a serial sniper becomes a deadly game on an all-new Criminal Minds Suspect Behavior. Forrest Whitaker stars Wednesday only. CBS. So Missouri State will retain it. Mallett is back in playing with 4 fouls. Jermaine Mallett averaging just under 11.5 points per game, and one of the co-captains of this squad. Who is going to step forward here for Missouri State?
Well, I think that's why you're seeing Mallett in. With a timeout. Yep, good call from the coach.
One official had a 5-second call. The other had the timeout. The timeout's going to stick. 6 minutes to go. (52-46) Indiana State leading Missouri State. This is the Missouri Valley Conference Championship presented by State Farm. 6 minutes to play in this second half. One note, Missouri Valley Conference, the #1 seed, has made the NCAA tournament every year since 1993. So if you look at those numbers, you would assume that Missouri State would go to the NCAA tournament, win or lose. But you look at strength of schedule, you look at the resume, and certainly they do not want to put it into the hands of the committee if they don't have to. Ball bouncing around. It doesn't go down for Weems. Ball ripped out of the hands. And Ricks is going to get called.
We've seen Ricks pick up a bunch of fouls with his aggressive play, all 3. And here's one right now. It's just trying for you. You got to commend him for the effort going after the basketball, but that's the 3rd foul that he's picked up in the backcourt, actually.
And double bonus now for Indiana State with Jake Odom. 75% shooter. He's 2 of 4 today. 2 shots. 9 points. Should say Jake Kelly, excuse me, 74% shooter. Kelly had season-ending knee injury last year, ACL. And he has given Indiana State a 53-46 lead with 5:42 left.
And I'm still trying to figure out when Missouri State's going to get a little luck in the bounces. They have not gotten any bounces really this entire half. They are clearly due for a break.
Crossover by Ricks. Leonard with 12 to shoot. Oh, he got contact, no call.
He was a little late in his effort to get his shot off.
Half-court set. Mallet a three. Bottom. Jermaine Mallet has 14.
And they know what's at stake, obviously. They want to go after this championship, so I would expect him and Weems now to start going after it.
The drive, Odom lost it, sticks with it, comes off the rim, and Creekmore comes up with a loose ball. Foul called.
Well, you take a look. Here's that step. Mallet getting one in stride. Finally, and I mean finally, Missouri State getting one shot that looked good and felt good and went through.
Creekmore is going to head to the free throw line. Odom has picked up his 4th foul. So you've got 4 fouls on both point guards. Odom to the bench. Nafis Ricks remains in there for Missouri State.
Coach Martin was delighted the way this team has always fought back.
Creekmore short. Weems takes it strong. It rims out. And he's going to the free throw line.
How about the work on the offensive glass on a missed free throw by Weems, though, to give himself a second opportunity here in his team. Watch, he's going to slip to get in. He catches it, and what does he do? Nice smarts, too. He just figures out, hey, I got the ball. Everybody's leaning in a different direction. Go right back and attack.
Weems has been a winner. Won a state title in high school with Highland Park. Undefeated season. And he gets the roll. His mother, Kim, looking on. Junior hotel and restaurant administration major.
Well, like I mentioned in that first half, it was a pleasure speaking with him yesterday. Really on top of things.
1 out of 2 for Weems. It's a 3-point game with just under 5 minutes to play.
Missouri State, they have to be feeling pretty good about their chances right now, even though the way this half has gone for them.
Latham goes cross court. And activity inside. Creekmore got mixed up with Walker. Off the ball. And Walker going to the line, which may not be a bad foul.
Thing, exactly. That, you know, in some ways, you don't want to start doing that intentionally right now, and it was not an intentional one, but at a 41% free throw shooter, if you're going to aggressively put somebody to the line, there's your man. Let's see if he can shoot through it now.
Junior college transfer from South Plains.
Good step up.
Friendly rim on the first attempt.
I think Odom realizes the numbers.
Walker now 1 of 3 today. 5 points, 5 rebounds.
Yep, this is where he has to stay on the line and finish his shot. Sometimes the free throw shooters with the bad percentages walk away.
Missed it.
Yep.
Rebounded by Weems. 54-50. Plenty of time left. 4:35. 3. Mallet knocks it down. Jermaine Mallet taking over.
Well, you're going to have 4.5 minutes or so of a championship's quality game right now coming down the stretch.
17 points for Mallet, his 3rd 3 of the day. This is a 1-point game.
The team that doesn't go away is on the road right now.
A steal. Ricks down the middle, gives it up. Mallet, hot hand. Wow. Rejected on the perimeter. Carl Richard. Big time block.
Well, they're passing the basketball, a little bit of action to the wing. Feeling the momentum and the offensive end. They come back down, but how about the snuff, like you mentioned? Nice effort there by Richard coming down. And that was a big defensive play because you don't want to see another knockdown from long range if you're Indiana State in that situation.
It's a 9-2 run for the Bears. Carter back in for Indiana State. We come up on the 4-minute mark of this second half. Sycamore's up by 1.
Maybe they're feeling the flow of this crowd too, and everybody on Missouri State side is down at that end of the basket in the fans.
Ricks puts it on the floor, 12 to shoot. Swings it out for Weems. Weems gives it up inside. Creekmore in a crowd.
Yep, good kick out.
Shot clock winding down. Leonard has to make it happen. Leaning through with an air ball. Creekmore caught it.
I don't know, shot clock possibly.
It is a shot clock violation, but we never heard the horn.
I never did either. That was a guess.
Turnover, Missouri State. 1 point game, second half. Coming up next here on CBS, Big Ten Powers hit head-on. John Lohr of the Badgers battle Jared Sullinger and the top-ranked Ohio State Buckeyes right here on CBS Sports, our 30th road to the Final Four. Look at the game reset with Indiana in state. Indiana State in front 54-53 with 3:41 remaining. Possession arrow favors the Sycamores.
Be an interesting game with Wisconsin and Ohio State also. Both of those teams very highly ranked in terms of not turning the basketball over. So it's interesting to me to see what style, see if Ohio State can get up and down a little bit more. Wisconsin, I'm sure, will just try to hold on to the ball and make sure of every single possession. Look forward to that one.
Odom back in there playing with 4 personal fouls. Shot clock is down to 12. Odom trying to direct traffic. High screen from Walker. Swings it out for Prenty. Prenty, a jump shot. Short. And tracked down by Carter, but the ball jarred loose. Here's Mallet now for Missouri State.
Good patience just then. Once again, nothing on the transition. Take it out. The momentum has shifted now in terms of who has the confidence. Missouri State feeling pretty good about themselves.
Bears trying to take the lead here. Mallet swings it for Ricks. Makes his move with a spin to the rim. Layup. No! Ricks got his hands on it and knocked out of bounds. It's going the other way. Opportunity there for Nafis Ricks.
Yep, it's right there, and he just pushes it to the right side. Our left looking at that play, and it rolls off, and then he tips it out of bounds.
Down to 2:36 remaining. Automatic bid to the NCAA tournament at stake. Indiana State up by 1. 15 to shoot.
This is the tempo they've been playing the whole game at.
Odom takes it to the baseline. 10 to shoot. Carter. And a timeout taken. 30-second timeout called by Greg Lansing over at the Indiana State bench in a 1-point game in St. Louis. Game reset. Indiana State, Missouri State. Each team with 2 timeouts remaining. 9 team fouls against Indiana State. Foul trouble. Jake Odom for Indiana State has 4. Mallet and Shear with 4 apiece for Missouri State. Indiana State took the lead with 18:28 to play in this second half. They have held it ever since. Trying to add to it here. Odom gets it in. Prenty circling. Prenty partially blocked. It's Creekmore with a rejection outside.
Boy, the big on the little guy. The little guy could not get past him at all. And a terrific reaction there by Creekmore to get a hand on it.
54-53, Indiana State. Under 2 minutes to play. Leonard dumps it inside.
Yep, this is where they've had some success, starting on the blocks with it.
Creekmore, a back in. Creekmore loses the ball.
Might have been off his leg.
Turnover, Missouri State with 1:41 left on the clock.
Let's take a look. Walker holding his ground. Boom. Call from the officials.
Now Jay Kelly will check back in. He'll replace Carl Richard.
All right, you got to keep in mind, too, if you're Missouri State, right, if Walker gets the ball in a position where he can score or come close to scoring, not a bad idea with him shooting 41% from the free throw line.
A minute and a half to go. Indiana State up by 1. Little shake and bake by Odom, and he's fouled going to the hoop. Jake Odom will shoot a pair.
We talked about him at the beginning of the broadcast, and he hasn't disappointed. When he needs and they need an opportunity, he's the guy who's going to have the basketball. He's going to make things happen, whether it's passing to somebody or on his own. And that's where he can time his moves to the basket. He's been doing it all afternoon. You know, he tricks you a little bit, he hesitates, and then the next thing you know, he's got enough explosion to go by you and get to the line, but unfortunately, missing the first.
Fourth foul against Nafis Ricks. 8 points for Odom. One out of two. 2-point lead. Down to 1:20 left. Number 1 seed Missouri State, Missouri Valley Conference, regular season champions, down by 2. Leonard can't get the 3 to go, and rebound snatched by Ricks. Gives it up, step back, Weems rimming out, and rebound to Kelly.
Great work on the glass by Kelly just then. How about Ricks getting a second opportunity for them also?
Don't forget, Wisconsin, Ohio State coming up, third game of the triple-header. College basketball today on CBS. 55-53, Indiana State in front. We're down to 42 seconds to play. Shot clock is down to 13.
Yep, this is clock and score where you play it out defensively right now with 8 seconds left on the defensive end.
Into the hands of their leader, Odom. And Odom is fouled. That's going to be it for Nafis Ricks. Stops the clock with 31.9 left to play. And the senior from Philadelphia has fouled out. So Indiana State will get free throws up by 2. And Jake Odom will head to the line. Missouri State has not been to the NCAA tournament since 1999. Rallied in the quarterfinals against Southern Illinois. Rallied in the semifinals against Creighton. And here they are now down by 2 with 31.9 left on the clock. Nafis Ricks, their starting point guard, is fouled out. Missouri State has shot 5 of 30 from the field in the second half.
Odom 3 of 6 from the line today.
The redshirt freshman sticks it.
Yeah, I still think his coach and team would want him on the line in this situation.
Decided to stay home and play at Indiana State from Terre Haute, Indiana. Second attempt, knocks it down. 57-53. Odom's got 11.
Missouri State has to be thinking, going to the basket quickly here. Don't rush. Don't take a bad shot.
Leonard got it. A 3. It's a 1-point game with 25.8. Adam Leonard from deep.
Well, you take a look at Leonard, the ability to get his shot off the spacing and knock it down. Boy, what great rotation on that shot.
Missouri State, 1 timeout remaining. Indiana State does have the possession arrow and does have possession with 25 seconds left. The Sycamores leading the Bears 57-56. Still to come, Ohio State and Wisconsin, a battle from the Big Ten. But first, we're going to see who's going to go to the NCAA tournament out of the Missouri Valley Conference. 1 step away from the big dance.
He is getting the ball inbounds right now. Not as easy as it looks sometimes.
Looping feed.
As stated.
Carter, they hit the deck.
Everybody's got to go after this.
Loose ball. Missouri State came away with it. Remember now, possession arrow belonged to Indiana State. That looked like a fumble. Players flying to the ball.
It's never easy getting it in bounds. There's that little bit of a kick, and then all of a sudden it's up for grabs. Who wasn't in on that one?
So Indiana State holds on to it with 20.4 left on the clock. That is not the conventional way to get it into the front court.
And now you do the same thing in Missouri State. You just play it as hard as you possibly can right now in terms of the entry pass. If you have a quick double team, you go for it, but you don't want to spend more than like 3 seconds right now. And that depends on where the ball is. So now you just foul. Don't even waste the 3 seconds because you don't have a double team.
So it's going to be Odom going to the line, and Vala called for the foul. 19.2 left on the clock. Jake Odom back to the free throw line. He is 5 of 8 here today, 11 points. First attempt for Odom. Short.
Well, you think the confidence is there after you hit 2 in a row, but you know what, Ian? From a player's perspective, that rim starts to kind of move on you and get a little bit smaller sometimes.
Jermaine Mallett is back in. They wanted to protect him on the bench with 4 personal fouls.
Now, we just saw Missouri State get this basketball the last trip and fly down the floor with it.
Odom's second attempt. He nails it. It's a 2-point game. 19 seconds left. 58-56, Indiana State in front. Leonard just hit a big 3. Creekmore with 9 seconds left. Clock is winding down. 6 seconds left.
Yeah, they better call the timeout because there was a lot of chaos and confusion going on right there.
Conzo Martin will talk it over with his team. A trip to the big dance on the line. Out of the Big Ten, game reset here in the Missouri Valley Conference Championship. Indiana State with 2 timeouts remaining. Missouri State is out of timeouts. They do have the possession arrow, and the Bears trail by 2 with 6.5 left on the clock.
Well, keep in mind that Leonard has a game winner earlier in the year, and so does Weems, in terms of Weems with a buzzer beater. So 2 of those guys, and keep in mind, they're very experienced. Watch for the quick hit in the drive to the hole, though.
Down by 2. Mallett has to get it in. Weems gives it up. Mallett 3 seconds and knocked out of bounds. It's going the other way. Indiana State takes over with 2.4 left to play.
Watch the handle. I don't think anybody gets a hand on it. He just tries to catch it and come up to get ready to shoot. Game's not over yet, though. If you're Missouri State, Ian, you got to play the defense right now. Make it tough to get the basketball in bounds again. And go for your foul early in the shot.
But boy, can they taste it. 2.4 left. Timeout. Indiana State with a 2-point lead over Missouri State, the #1 seed here in the Missouri Valley Conference Championship. The #3 seeded Sycamores up 58-56 with possession, 2.4 remaining.
Now you have that timeout, but if you're going to make a mistake entering this basketball, you got to make sure you enter it long, going away from your own bucket. You can't avoid it. You can't take the chance of a turnover back here.
Prenty has to get it in.
There's the timeout. That gives him one relief. The fun's going to begin right now.
Haven't you been having fun for a while
Well, it's
here?
going to get better.
Great matchup still to come. #10 Wisconsin, #1 Ohio State here on CBS. No timeouts remaining. Indiana State 58, Missouri State 56. 2.4 left on the clock. And Indiana State just trying to get the ball inbounds.
And they've had their problems in the last 2 possessions trying to get it in from that same spot.
Jordan Prenty does get it in. And a foul. Jake Kelly got hit with 1.4 left to play.
Well, this is a difficult pass across underneath your own basket. Weems doing exactly what he needed to do just then, getting the foul as quickly as he could. And what you need now from a strategy standpoint, you need Indiana State from their side. You need them to bury 2.
You make 2, it's over.
And if you're Missouri State, you're hoping for 50% from the line.
Kelly, 74% shooter. He drains it. 3-point lead. And this free throw is for a berth to the NCAA tournament. Kelly, transfer from Iowa. Originally from Terre Haute, Indiana. Second attempt, knocks it down. Indiana State is going to the big dance. For the first time since 2001, the Indiana State Sycamores are in the NCAA tournament. 60-56. Indiana State pulls off the upset. Wisconsin and Ohio State coming up here on CBS. It's that time of year. For Jim Spanarkel, I'm Ian Eagle. So long. You're watching CBS Sports, our 30th road to the Final Four.
Yeah, what do you got? Okay. There he is. You're next. Jake is next. You ready? Greg, congratulations on a great effort this afternoon. You want to try to describe what's going on behind us right now?
Well, you got a really happy group of guys and fans, and this is such an unselfish group. It's just the best group of guys I've been around the 22 years of coaching. I can't tell you how happy I am for these guys and our fans.
Talk a little bit, if you would, about the way your guys hung together in terms of defensively in the second half. That's about as good a job as you've had all season long.
We really felt like in the first half, the only thing they were scoring on was transition and second shots, and we were very good in the half court defensively. If we took their transition away, didn't give them second shots, we'd have a chance to do it, and they did it.
I believe you're going to the tournament, and what does this mean for your community back home?
Well, it's a Terre Haute, the Wabash Valley basketball-rich community. They deserve this. It's been done before, and it's been done the right way. We're going to enjoy it. This is for the fans and these players.
Well, congratulations. Good luck.
Thanks a lot, Jim.
Here's Jake right here. Jake, Coach told us yesterday that earlier in this season, they gave you the keys to the car and you took over this afternoon in terms of this is your team in terms of setting the style. What did you think in the second half?
I mean, we gutted it out in the second half. All three of these games, we've been down at halftime, and we had a sense of urgency coming out of half, and we really need to step up our defense, and that fuels our offense. And our guys really did great today. Missouri State's a tough team, and I'm just really excited right now.
Well, congratulations. Good luck in the tournament.
Thank you. Thank you.
Number one, baby.
Final score, Missouri State falls to Indiana State 60-56 in St. Louis. The Missouri Valley Conference Championship. Your game recap on CBSSports.com. Ian Eagle along with Jim Spinarkle, the number 3 seed, picked 7th in the preseason in the conference, and Indiana State is going to the NCAA tournament. A great scene here in St. Louis. Greg Lansing and company. Right. Move on, and they'll be a part of the big dance.
They will be, and it was an exciting finish for them also, but I think you have to go back to the beginning of the second half, and they really set the tempo defensively, and it was a team effort. You know, defense really is not just one guy, but this entire Indiana State team focused on what they needed to do, and boy, did they ever come to play defensively.
And Missouri State held to 31% from the field. Meanwhile, the Sycamores shoot 50% from the outside. They turn it over 13 times. They get out-rebounded by Missouri State, but they made plays when they had to in that second half. And this is an Indiana State team that in January and February had lost 5 in a row. And
right.
You didn't quite know where this team was headed. You look up, they're in the MVC championship game against the number 1 seed, a team that was picked to go out there and win it all. It's Indiana State that prevails.
It sure was, and the other thing that I thought was interesting with them was the poise. And I think the poise, in speaking with their coach yesterday, we talked a little bit about it, how it grew over the last 6 weeks or so. The confidence started to come in Jake Odom with the way he's handled the basketball. They never really got rattled. Missouri State, about the 3-minute mark, started to think, hey, this is our game. We're going to win this game. Indiana State never really buckled and just hung on.
And Coach Lansing went on and on about the leadership that he's gotten from his redshirt freshman. And that's Jake Odom. Comes through with 12 points, made some free throws down the stretch, but let's give credit to the senior as well, because Aaron Carter made some big plays, and his hustle really typifies what kind of squad this Sycamore team is.
And I think if you look at Carter, the way he got to the free throw line, that was one thing. He hit a couple of good shots, but his aggressiveness in terms of attacking when they needed a bucket was very, very important. So you put those two guys playing real well. The other guys supporting them with their role play. It was a nice, hard-fought game and a nice victory for Indiana State.
The other side of the equation now for Missouri State. Number 1 seed in the Missouri Valley Conference. If you go back to 1993, the number 1 seed has gone to the NCAA tournament, whether they won the conference tournament or not. Now the question will go to the committee whether or not Missouri State is deserving.
And it's going to be a difficult one for them, even though they've had a real good season in terms of the regular season. I don't think this second half is any indication of what kind of team they have. They just couldn't buy a bucket, and I'm not taking anything away from Indiana State. Missouri State is still right there, kind of on that bubble, as we like to say.
Yeah, the bubble.
A little bit.
You hear a lot about the bubble this time of year. That's the story here in St. Louis. Indiana State, champions of the Missouri Valley Conference Tournament. They are headed to the NCAA tournament. 60-56 the final. Sycamores over Missouri State. For Jim Spinarkle, this is Ian Eagle, exclusively on CBSSports.com.